Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. In today's video, I wanted to sit down and do a get ready with me, and I want to use my Shop My Stash items. I might reach into a couple project pan things as well, but these are the products I use every single day, and I just thought it would be fun to use them on camera to show you what me getting ready in the morning for a weekday might look like, because if you are new to my channel, you might not know that I only use my Shop My Stash items during the week. During the weekend, I give myself full reign to my entire collection. So yeah, I just thought that this would be a lot of fun. So if you're interested to see the look that I create with my Shop My Stash products, then let's go ahead and just jump into it. I'm very excited to film this video because I just got these brushes in the mail yesterday. These are the Spectrum Collection Zodiac brushes. They were sent to me in PR, so thank you so much to Spectrum for sending them. But I have been in love with the design of these brushes for so many months, and I've always wanted them. And I already love my KJH and Spectrum brushes, so I'm just so excited to try these out. I don't have to make this video with them. They didn't ask me to make it or anything like that, but I wanted to use them in today's video so that we can kind of test them together, and I'm gonna let you know what I think about them. I'm just so excited to try them out. I have not washed them yet, so I'm assuming some of them might have a little bit of shedding. I noticed that with all makeup brushes when they're new. I probably should have washed them before I use them for the first time, but we're just not going to worry about that, okay? Because I just really want to try them out. So I am going to try and use all of them, if not all of them. I have the face and the eye set. So for starters, I want to put on my primer, and then I think I'm going to do my eyes first. But this is the e.l.f. Mint Melt Cooling Primer. This is in my project pan, and I would just like to use this. I've been really enjoying this primer, and I'm hoping I can use it up soon because I want to replace it because the pump is broken. It is awful. I have to squeeze the package for anything to come out. It's really difficult to get the product out, but I want to use this up and then repurchase it, and hopefully I don't get a broken pump next time because I really like the product. I originally was gonna make a warm tone look with one of my palettes in my Shop My Stash. Now I don't know. I'm like, do I want to use the Persona Identity palette, or do I want to use the ColourPop Making Mauves palette? I feel like I haven't used the ColourPop one on camera in a long time, but my shirt has a whole bunch of warm tones in it, so I feel like I'm gonna try and use this today and maybe try to do something a little bit more fun than just a really basic neutral look. So I'm gonna prime my eyelids with the Ulta Beauty eyeshadow primer. This also is in my project pan, but I don't have one another one in my Shop My Stash, so we're just gonna use this one. Okay, I went ahead and pulled out all of the eye brushes. So two of them are a little bit similar. There's these two crease brushes, and one of them is just slightly smaller than the other. So we're gonna start out with the largest crease brush, which is the B6. I feel like you can never have enough crease brushes in your collection. So I actually pretty much always start out with the shade Humble. This shade is pretty similar to my skin tone, and I find that it helps blend the other shades out because the other shades in this palette are actually kind of deep. Usually when I dip into this palette, I use either this green shade or this bronzy kind of copper. No, what color is that? I guess it's a bronze color. And then maybe one of these browns here. But today I want to use that orange shade. So I'm just going to kind of set down the primer a little bit with the shade Humble, but I'm just putting it in the crease and then bringing it up as my transition. Next, I'm going to use the B07 brush, which is the crease brush that's just a little bit smaller. And I'm going to go into the shade Audacious, which is the orange shade I was talking about. I just feel like with my shirt, I just really want to use that color. And I'm going to put this on the outer corner. These shades are so pigmented. So I'm blending it up into the crease, and you can see it's getting lighter as we blend up, and it makes it a lot easier because I laid down that lighter color first. I'm gonna go back in with the B06 brush in the shade Humble again and just blend these two together. Going back in with Audacious. This brush is a little bit more densely packed as well, whereas this one is more fluffy. So they actually do feel pretty different, which is nice because they came in a set of just a few. So it's nice that they're different enough. I'm going to go in with the smaller crease brush. This is the A12, and I think I might go in to the shade Charming, which is just this like more warm tone brown. I'm gonna put this on the inner part of the crease. I don't really know where this look is going yet. This is kind of typical to how I create a look. I just kind of throw colors on the eyelid and then see where the look ends up. I really like that actually. And then, so I've got really fair skin obviously, and these shades are a little bit deeper. So I always have to keep going back in to the shade Humble for my transition, just to help it kind of have a gradient into my skin tone. So I'm gonna go again back into Charming and build that up here on the crease. I'm gonna add some NYX Glitter Glue to the lid. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the whole lid, not just in the negative space. And then I think I want to use the shade Bossy here. This is like the least foiled of all the shimmer shades, but I want to put this on the outer half of the lid. Next up, I'm going to take the shade Goddess here. I'm going to put this almost all the way to the inner corner, like stopping here, and I'm going to drag it over the shade Bossy as well. When you layer shimmer shades like this, it almost looks like a duochrome effect, as if maybe it's just the shadow creating that. And then lastly, I'm going to go in with a Gold Digger here, and I want to put this on the very inner part. I'm actually going to use this brush. It looks really nice for this. This is the A16. It's like a tiny shader brush. Going back in with the shade Gold Digger, and I'm going to pack this in the inner corner. And then I'm going to use this brush too. This is really nice with the shade Goddess again. Kind of build up that gradient that we were laying down. I really like this brush. It's a good shape. And then lastly, I'm going to go in with Bossy again. Put that on the outer part. I realized I didn't really use this brush. This would have been really nice for setting down the eyeshadow primer, but I forgot about that one. I just think these brushes are so cute. Like, to be honest with you, it's mostly the packaging why I wanted them, because I just think that they're precious, but they're great quality. I really think that they have good brushes. Okay, I'm wiping off that shader brush on my hand, and I want to pick up more of the shade Gold Digger, which is the lightest shade, and I just want to kind of clean up this line here. Not gonna lie, I'm not like loving this look. I typically really love the looks I create with this palette, but I'm gonna finish the whole look and then see how we're feeling. I've been really obsessed with this eyeliner. This is the NYX Epic Ink Liner. It's the liquid one in the shade Brown. And I'm just gonna go ahead and line my eyes with this. And I'm gonna flick it out a little bit. I will say I like this the best when I don't have any eyeshadow on or just matte eyeshadow, because I feel like sometimes the shimmer gets on the tip of this. It's kind of hard to use, but I still really like it overall. And then I also picked up a brown mascara. This is the Covergirl Clump Crusher, and I'm just going to build this up on the upper lashes. Okay, now that I got the liner and mascara on, I'm actually really liking it. I feel like I do this all the time. Like sometimes when I do my eyes first, I'm like, oh, I don't know, I don't think I like it, but something about this brown liner and lash duo has just been my favorite recently. So that's going to be it for the eyeshadow for now. Let's go ahead and jump to the face. The foundation that I have in my Shop My Stash right now is the Rare Beauty foundation in the shade 140C. It's really a good idea to shake this up first. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think I mentioned in a video that I've been feeling kind of like iffy about this. I love it all over again. So I'm really starting to think this just works the best for my skin when I use it a very specific way, and especially when it's colder outside. So my favorite way to use this is to just take it out and not dip back in. They kind of had this as like their advertisement as like the 1 dot foundation challenge or something like that. But I just kind of spread that one dot around. I don't dip it back in and get more. And then I use a brush, which is similar to this. I've never used, of course, this one before, but this is the Spectrum B01 brush. And I'm going to just blend this out first with a brush. It's a very thin consistency, and it's almost more like oil-based than water-based, I think, or at least that's how it feels. The first layer, I feel like it looks okay when you're blending it in, but then it gets better, I promise. So it's just a good idea to work in small layers. I feel like this works better on top of a moisturizing primer. So since I let the e.l.f. one sink in, I think it should be okay. But I typically use a more moisturizing primer underneath this. Yeah, I'm having a little hair shed. I think once I wash these once though, they won't do that. My KJH ones don't really shed. I will say the KJH brushes weigh significantly more, I would say, than the Zodiac collection. That's kind of a preference thing. I feel like usually weight is, I feel like, correlated with quality, but to me, I really like the design of this brush, so it doesn't bother me that it doesn't weigh as much as this brush, if that makes sense. But the bristles, like, they still feel really soft, and everything about the actual make of the brush feels really sturdy, so I don't really have a problem with that. All right, so I've got the first like layer completely blended in, and then what I will do is I will just dot a little bit more just onto my cheeks. This part is different. I will just kind of do it depending on what I'm feeling that day. Today, I'm gonna do what I typically, I think, would do more often, is blend this out as well with the brush for the most part. And then at the very end is when I would go in with my damp sponge and then like kind of change the finish of the foundation a little bit more and also help it really sink into the skin. But yeah, I've been wearing this for about the last, I don't know, maybe like 5 days or a week. And I've really been loving it all over again. One thing I don't love about it is I really like consistency in my makeup, and I like to know that every time I pick up my ColourPop Pretty Fresh foundation, I always love the way it looks. And sometimes I don't love this one, so that's not a favorite thing of mine, but I love the Rare Beauty concealer. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this as well. I'm just going to use my sponge, I think, to blend this out. Well, no, let me spread it out. Let me use one of the brushes. The A07 brush. And we'll use this to like spread out the product, and then we'll use the sponge again to help kind of like sink the makeup into the skin. I didn't think I was gonna like this for concealer. It's actually really nice. And it would be good underneath the eyes. Oh, I never really use a brush for concealer. I actually have a Rare Beauty brush, the concealer one, and this is the only one I think this is the only one I ever used for concealer. It's really nice shape too. Typically would just use my sponge. It's just quicker really. But this is nice to like spread out the product, and I guess you wouldn't lose quite as much coverage, I think, if you were to do this first. Yeah, so I got it kind of spread out, and then now I'll go in with a sponge and blend it out the rest of the way. I really wanted to use this brush for my brows, so I think what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to dip into the shade Maverick here from the Persona Identity palette, because I don't have a brow powder or anything where I could really use a brush. This spoolie is really nice, so it grabbed onto my brow hairs like really quick. And let's see how the shade looks. I've never actually tried this in my brows before. I feel like this is actually a decent color for my brows. I like that it's more cool tone. I feel like a lot of times my brows, they look way too warm tone. I really like the spoolie though. That's super nice. And then I'm going to use my Milani Weekend Brow to draw in like the inner part of my brows, because I feel like powder doesn't really look that good on the inner part. And then I'm going to set it with the Essence Clear Brow Gel. I'm going to use my Project Pan liner in the waterline. This is the NYX liner in the shade Gilded Taupe. I accidentally got some of this liner underneath my eye over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and actually run it really close to my lash line underneath my eye. I love this eyeliner so much. It's so pretty. Okay, using the tiny little pencil crease kind of brush, I want to run a shade underneath the lower lash line. I think I'm going to start out with the shade Humble to kind of lay that base that I like to mix with. And put this right underneath where we just put that eyeliner. And then I think I'm going to go into Audacious and hope that this turns out okay. I'm going to tap my brush off a lot and then run this like really close to the lash line, starting on the outer corner and then working my way in. Okay, I think I kind of like that. I'm going to go back into Humble and then just kind of blend that out a little bit. All right, before I add lower lash mascara, I want to add some of this Rcma No Color Powder because there's a brush in this collection I'm so excited to try out. What I'm talking about is this one because this is called the A26 and it's really similar to a brush that I love from Nabla. I am really hoping that these are similar because I love this one a lot, but it's really expensive and you have to pay shipping. That I remember being very, very expensive off of their website. So I hope that this is similar. So I like this brush or the Nabla one that's similar to this for setting underneath the eyes. It is just the perfect shape and size to get underneath your eyes and set. So I'm gonna kind of like pack this powder on. I got some of one of those shadows in my eyes earlier when I was putting it on the lower lash line. So that's not fun. And then because I want to use all of the brushes or most of them, I'm going to go in with the C03 face brush and I'm just going to pick up like a ton of powder and set the rest of my face. Actually, yeah, I think I'm going to use powder products today on the face. So I'm going to go ahead and just set all over. And then I'm going to sweep away the powder that we put underneath the eyes. Yeah, I like this brush a lot. It's a very, very similar feeling and size to the Nabla one. All right, for bronzer and highlight, I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow Duo. I love this. For bronzer, I'm going to use this brush. This is the A05, and this is my typical shape of a bronzer brush that I love. I love the one that's shaped like this from the KJH collection. I actually have it drying because when I washed all my makeup brushes, that one was on my vanity because I didn't put it back in the cup and I saw that I forgot to wash it, so I had to wash it later on. So I need to go get that brush because it's my favorite. I'm going to use this brush for highlight. This is the B01 brush. This seems like a really nice highlight brush. I love this bronzer and highlight so much from Charlotte Tilbury. For blush, I'm going to use my Project Pan one. This is the Hourglass blush in the shade Mood Exposure. And I don't have another brush that I haven't used yet that would be good for blush. So I'm going to use the one we used all over the face for powder just because, I don't know why, but I really like a giant blush brush with this blush. So I'm going to tap it off a little bit. I think you can see some of the product floating, but oh, I think I like this better for blush than I did for powder. This is nice. I probably could have used a more warm tone blush today, but this is a pretty good tone, I feel like, for every day, so I'm okay with it. Okay, I'm going to use my sponge and just go all over the face and kind of blend everything in together. And then I want to add some of that staying mascara to the lower lashes. For an eye look like this, I'd honestly probably have preferred the black mascara, but I've just been so into brown liner and mascara that I don't want to use black mascara and liner right now, so I'm not going to. I love that this one is like a true brown mascara, but it doesn't really build up very well, but I've only had it open for a couple days, so hopefully it will kind of get better over time. I think that they look good, but they're just very natural lashes, you know? All right, let's use the e.l.f. Dewy Coconut Setting Mist. This is, again, the one in my Project Pan. And then one more time, I'm going to press everything in with my sponge. I'm liking this look. I feel like it's nothing revolutionary. It's just pretty simple, but let's go ahead and add the lip product. First up, I'm going to line my lips with the KKW Beauty Lip Liner in Nude 0. And then I'm going to use this lipstick from Fenty. This is one of her new like refillable lipsticks. I got this in PR via Octoly. I really love it. It's in the shade, I think it's called 04. My lips are really dry today, so don't think it's because of this lipstick. I really need to use my Tatiana Anissa lip scrub tonight. But yeah, I love the color of this lipstick a lot, and the formula is really nice, like soft matte kind of formula. To be honest, the price of the actual lipstick part is just really expensive to me. Like I don't feel like they priced this right, but the lipstick itself is really good, and I would recommend the formula. I just have a hard time saying like you should go spend that kind of money on it. I don't know. Okay, with the tiny brush earlier that we used for the shimmer shades. I'm going to go into the shade Sassy. This is my favorite inner corner highlight in my entire collection. It's pretty much what I use, well, I won't say every day, but I do use it a lot. And you can tell I love it. I have pan in it. But of course I'm going to add this as my inner corner highlight. This brush feels a little bit stiff in my inner corner, but I really liked it for putting the shadows on my lid, so I'm not sure about that. But this is the finished look using some of my Shop My Stash products. I just thought it would be fun to film with them because typically you guys see me pick my products for my Shop My Stash and then I don't typically actually use them on camera, so I wanted to kind of change that up this time. Let me know down below if you guys enjoyed this and if you want to see me do more videos like this where we do our makeup with the Shop My Stash products, because it was nice to just dip into them and actually take my time with them. In the morning, I'm in a rush, so I would do something similar to this, but way less on the eyes because I just don't like to wake up very early. So I pretty much give myself as little time as possible to get out the door. But that's going to be it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed kind of hanging out with me and just doing our makeup. If you were getting ready with me, let me know that. I love watching YouTube while I get ready, and I'm interested to know if you guys were getting ready with me. I'm getting ready to film another video and then take my makeup off because it's night. I actually didn't wear makeup today. But alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed. Let me know down below if you'd like to see more videos like this. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!